Hi, in the previous video we have seen how to use recursion to compute a power n. Now in this video we'll work out on the same example and analyze how much memory does the program would require to execute completely. So this is the program that we have seen that we have written in the previous video to compute a power n using recursion. Now we'll use the same program to analyze how much memory does this program would consume for its execution. So if you remember, we have seen the memory layout of a C program in one of the previous chapters. Right? When we learned about functions, we have seen the memory layout of a program. Right? So we'll use this memory layout, especially the stack part of this memory layout, to analyze this recursion program. Let's take the same toy example that we have worked out on in the previous video. So 2 power 4, let's compute 2 power 4 and analyze this program. Whenever a function is called, a new activation record will be created in the stack portion of that program. So if you remember the memory layout, it has a stack portion, right? Whenever a function is called, a new activation record will be created under the stack portion. So let's say this is my stack. So let's say this is my stack, and a new activation record will be created in the stack. So since main is a function and the program starts executing from the main function, a new activation record will be created with the copy of main function. So with all the code in main function, an activation record is created. So in this activation record, I will have base is equal to 2 and exponent is equal to 4. So there are other instructions also in this main function. I am not representing everything here. I am for time being I am having only base and exponent because these are the values which we are going to use in this function, right? And in this function I have this one, right? Result is equal to power of base comma exponent. So I have power of 2 comma 4, right? This instruction is also in this main function, correct? So because of this, a new activation record will be created in the stack with the copy of the power function. So a new activation record will be created with the copy of this function, right? So in this function I have a is equal to 2 and n is equal to 4. So this is a new activation function that is created when this function is called, right? So along with this activation record, it also saves the address of the instruction which needs to be executed after executing this. Are you getting this? So after executing this function, the control should go back to the calling function, right? This is the calling function, this is the calling place, and the control should continue executing the next statement, right? So along with this function, the compiler also stores the address of the instruction that is to be executed after executing this function, right? That is called program counter or instruction address. So this will specify which instruction to be executed after completing this function. So in this case, after executing this function, the control should come back to this instruction and replace the value of power here and assign it to result, right? So essentially the next instruction that is to be executed after executing this function is assigning value of power to result, right? So this is in line number 12. So I am representing the program counter like this, main line number 12. So this means after executing this function, the control should go back to line number 12 in main function, right? That's what this represents. So coming back to our discussion, here we have n is equal to 4, right? Since n is not equal to 0, it goes to the else part and executes this return statement. We have written a into power of a comma n minus 1. So here n is, so what we have here, so we have 2 into power of 2 comma 3, right? So since n is not equal to 0, the control goes to this line and tries to execute a into power of a comma n minus 1, right? Since a is 2 and n is 4, we have this expression. Now because of this function call, a new activation record will be created in the stack with the copy of the function, power function, right? 2 comma 3. Again, I am not writing all these statements in this activation record for time being. I am just representing the essential values which are a and n here, right? So this is my activation record. Along with this activation record, I will have the program counter which represents the address of the instruction that is to be executed after executing this, right? So after executing this means the control goes back to the calling function, and then in the calling function the next instruction after this function call, right? So this is called, this guy is called from P, so it should go back to the power function, and this is this function a P of 2 comma 3 is called by this guy, right? Line number 6. So after executing P of 2 comma 3, the control should go back to line number 6 of calling function, right? Okay, now we have the program counter also. In this function we have n is equal to 3, right? Since n is not equal to 0, the control goes to the else part, and here we have in the else part we have 2 into power of 2 comma 2, right? Because of this function, a new activation record with the copy of power function will be created in the stack space, right? So I will have a new activation record with these values, a equal to 2 and n equal to 2, right? And again, after executing this function, the control should go back to the calling function which is P, and the line number is 6, right? So this is the line in which we have power function, right? So after executing this function, the control should come back to this place and execute the rest of the instructions, right? So that is the reason we have line number 6 of the calling function. And again in this function n is equal to 2, so it goes to the else part and executes this statement, 2 into power of 2 comma 1, right? Again, because of this expression, because of this function call, a new activation record will be created in the stack space with a copy of all the statements in this power function, right? So essentially we'll have a equal to 2 and n is equal to 1, right? So this is my activation record, and in this function also n is not equal to 0, so the control goes to the else part where we have an expression like 2 into P of 2 comma 0, right? Along with this activation record, the compiler stores the program counter. So here in this case, the caller is P of 2 comma 1. So P of, and the instruction which is to be executed after this function is this one, right? So this states that after executing this function, the control should go back to line number 6 of the calling function. Now coming back to this function. So since this is a function call, it will create, the compiler creates a new activation record with a copy of this power function along with these values. So I'll have a equal to 2 and now n equal to 0. So here also we'll have the program counter 6, right? This activation record, after executing this function, the control should go back to this place, right? This return statement in the else part. So we have line number 6 in our activation record. Here if you observe n equal to 0, so the power function simply returns 1 when n is equal to 0. So this function returns 1 to the calling function, right? It returns 1 and then it will be popped out of the stack, right? All the variables and all the instructions in this activation record will be lost, and the control goes back to line number 6 of the calling function, right? Here line number 6 is 2 into P of 2 comma 0. So since it has returned 1, this value will be substituted in place of 2 power P of 2 comma 0. So my value in this record will be 2 into 1, which is equal to 2, right? So the value of this expression is evaluated as 2. So after evaluating this value, we have return statement, right? So this will return 2, right? This is the statement we have in this activation record, in this function, right? So 2 will be returned to its caller, and this activation record will be popped off from the stack. Now the control goes to line number 6 of its caller, right? So this returned 2 to the caller, its caller, and the control is waiting at line number 6 of this function. In this function, we have got the value of P of 2 comma 1, so it will be substituted here, P of 2 comma 1, which is 2, so the total value is 4. Now in this function we have return 4, so 4 will be returned to its caller, right? 4 will be returned to this caller, its caller, and this function, this activation record will be popped off from the stack. Now the control goes to line number 6 of its caller, right? This is my line number 6. So 2 into 4, we have got 4 from this function, so that will be substituted in place of 2 comma 2, P of 2 comma 2, which is equal to 8, and this value should be returned, right? Because we have return 8. So this is evaluated as 8, so we have return 8, so 8 will be returned to its caller, and this activation record will be popped off from the stack. Now the control will go back to line number 6 of this guy's caller. So this guy's caller is this one, which is actually the line number 6 of this function. So this expression is evaluated as 16 and we want to return 16 to its caller, right? So we have return 16 which should be returned to its caller, right? So we are returning 16 to its caller and we pop off this activation record from the stack. The control goes back to line number 12 of main function, right? This is what we have in our program counter of this activation record. So line number 12 is this. So the value of power of this function is 16. So this expression will be replaced with 16 and is assigned to result, right? After assigning 16 to the result, the compiler continues executing with the rest of the statements in the main function. Once main function is also done executing, this activation record will also be popped off from the stack, right? So this is how recursion works, and this is called, this method of evaluating a program is called function call method. So we have analyzed the program and we have seen what is the value at each function call using this function call method. So this is one of the ways to debug a recursive function call.